He's got a lot of crowd control. Alright, jumping into the game. 0-0 at start. Minions have spawned. In the mid lane, looks like Orianna managed to get to level 3 without very much of a problem, so she's going to have a pretty commanding lead in that lane coming up soon enough. Yasuo doesn't necessarily have the damage to push her out of lane against that shield. Lee Sin's doing his blue buff. Amumu's got both his buffs and is looking for a gank on the top lane. Let's see if he can land that bandage toss onto Ryze to start off. Oh, in the bot lane all of a sudden. Looks like there was an engagement. Flash by the Janna, trying to take out the Caitlyn. Gets it. Forces Thresh's flash to finish up the kill. So, one kill for Janna. Oh, and in the top lane, Amumu did land that bandage toss. Man, we're going to have to back up a little bit. Alright, in the bot lane, there's an engagement. Jinx misses her Q. Caitlyn gets exhausted. Heal bait. Thresh has Ignite and lands that on top of Jinx, stopping her from healing. Lantern into flash from Caitlyn takes down the Jinx. And then Janna does her thing. In the top lane, Amumu sticks that landing. Oh, Ryze attempts to engage. Flash out by Rumble. Just enough HP to survive. Ryze finds himself out of position with no flash, and Rumble can sit back pretty easily. Alright, so that went pretty well for that team. So 2-3 overall. Not much of a gold differential. Amumu, Thresh, and Caitlyn each with a kill. Caitlyn being forced back by Jinx's rockets. Man, those things hurt. Nice dodge on the cork out of the Jinx. If she'd gotten hit by that, she would probably have had to blow summoner spells. Although she doesn't seem to have any left, she might have died if she hadn't dodged that. Janna engaging, doing a fair amount of damage, just trading to make sure that Caitlyn can't stay in lane. Dodged it again. Really nice play out of this Caitlyn. Understands exactly how powerful that spell is. Orianna has died once, so she probably gave up a kill to the Yasuo. Looks like it was a solo kill. Yeah. Because Lee Sin does not have any kills or assists of his own. Ryze versus Rumble. Ryze has the damage to trade with Rumble, but not the mana to keep it up, so Rumble can do this, where he walks up and trades, and suddenly Ryze does not have the damage, because he does not have the mana to keep pressing. So Rumble can walk into lane, and Ryze really has nothing but his auto attacks to continue dealing damage. Caitlyn forced out, even after dodging this cork, she still took too much damage and had to retreat. So Jinx is going to have the upper hand here for a little while. She's up to 48 creeps to Caitlyn's 27, so that's a fairly significant advantage in the bot lane. Up here, Rumble gets baited in by the Ryze. Lee Sin manages to come around for the kill. He'd been hovering around in the area, and finally Rumble overcommitted, and Lee Sin managed to get his surfer butt up there. In the mid lane, Yasuo got his level 6, is pushing out the Orianna. Orianna managed to die to the Yasuo, which means she probably got hit by that damn tornado. That's the one thing you can't let happen against the Yasuo, is that tornado land. If that tornado lands, he is going to engage on you, and he does actually outdamage you in a point-blank scenario, at least for a while. Yasuo takes out the pink ward that had been defending the red side jungle for purple team. And it looks like Lee Sin's setting up for a gank. Nope, he's just going to wander through the lane. In the bot lane, Caitlyn's returned, and she's going to push Jinx back a little bit. Jinx fails to get a CS with her cork. Looks like Caitlyn and Thresh. Thresh has actually his level 6. He's been in lane for the longest out of anyone in this bot lane. Janna is still on her level 4, so it's going to be a while until she can properly rescue this Jinx from danger, while Thresh has his box available, meaning ganks are going to be much more challenging. That box is a pretty good spell. Hooks up creep, doesn't really do much. Jinx, Yasuo is wandering down, pinks a bush. He's going to try gank on this lane. He's going to walk right over a ward, and hopefully, actually, you want Thresh in the back in this situation so that he can rescue the Caitlyn and still force Yasuo to waste time, thinking he can make the gank, but he walks into a ward and he knows he's seen, so he's going to back up. In the meantime, Orianna's been taking some of her lane presence back. She's reached her level 6. And that spell effect does go through Wind Wall. It is not a projectile, it is an area effect. So Yasuo is not going to be able to defend himself from it. Yasuo's going to cast out his tornado in a second here. Let's see if he can manage to make that connect with Orianna. Nope, she walks backwards out of range of it. Costs her not a creep. And Yasuo's passive takes most of that damage, and he hits the Orianna with the next tornado. That Yasuo is pretty strong. He's got a lot of damage, a lot of attack speed, and that crit helps a lot. Mumu's coming up to try and make a gank happen, but he walked over a pink ward, so he was seen, and he's not going to be able to get anything done. Nice hook, but Yasuo's passive. Wow! If Orianna can get on him, they can make this happen. Yep, there's the ball. Ignite is going to get that kill. One auto attack, all she needs. Killed for it. Yasuo, great play under his tower. That was an angry tower. He managed to pin her down directly inside the range of the tower and used his own ignite to make sure that kill happened. Jesus, that tower did damage to Orianna. I'm not sure she managed to get that shield. She had used it on Amumu, so she didn't have the shield to save herself from that last tower shot. Otherwise, she might have been able to at least get out with her life, if not the kill in the Yasuo. Ryze had to retreat. Rumble bullied him out. Rumble did not use his ultimate to make that happen, but he's going to engage the Ryze right now. He's probably going to be forced to drop his ultimate. Yep, there it goes. Ryze is forced to back out a little bit. He didn't drop that in the best defensive position, so Ryze can sneak around it and keep pressuring. But overall, the trade did take Ryze pretty low, and he did burn his teleport to get back to lane. So if Rumble wants to burn his teleport to get back to lane, he's going to be in an advantageous position. Meanwhile, Caitlyn and Thresh are pushing into the bot lane. That happens. Jinx might have the DPS advantage on Caitlyn, but she definitely doesn't have the push potential that Caitlyn does, especially against towers. That range is so huge. And Caitlyn's steroid against creeps is very powerful as well. So that tower goes down. That's going to be the first one of the game. In the top lane, yep, Rumble's teleported back to lane. But Ryze has used his ultimate to heal back somewhat. He's constantly chugging potions, so he'll be okay as long as Rumble doesn't do a nice job closing the gap. Yeah, see, Ryze can poke him as long as Rumble has his Flame Spitter on cooldown. In the mid lane, Lee Sin coming in, making like he wants to gank, but Orianna's backed up behind her tower. And so Yasuo is just going to wander over here, ward up, make sure he doesn't get snuck up on by an Amumu. In the bot lane, Jinx seems to have had a poor engagement against the Caitlyn and the Thresh, and all four of the bot laners have left their lane, although Caitlyn and Thresh are returning. Janna in the mid lane, looking perhaps to sneak up on this Orianna, or maybe just to de-ward. Both of Orianna's wards have gone down, so she doesn't have vision of the dragon side anymore. Blue team has full control, walking into the jungle. Janna's actually a little out of position. She'll just tornado and walk out. Thresh gets a little over-eager with his hook and fires it the wrong spot. And now Blue team has a significant vision advantage in this area. Just one ward dropped down by Thresh to cover the dragon pit itself. And he also drops one in the tri-brush, so that he and his lane mate Caitlyn can push up without too much threat. Jinx lands a cork, but it's on Thresh, and Thresh won't care very much. In the mid lane, Orianna forced to recall. Amumu covers while she comes back. Lee Sin and Amumu still roaming around this dragon side. Windwall not in the best location. Orianna, nice dodge by the frickin' Zed. That was skill play, but he walked under tower. Ha, taste of his own medicine that time. Lee Sin's gonna, nice, forces both flashes, but now Amumu can possibly continue engagement. Nice retreat by Lee Sin using his E to jump to a minion. Skill play all around. Zed does not have the better of it, but he does force 2 ultimates and 2 flashes just for his own life. And Lee Sin could have moved on that if he hadn't backed off. Yeah, he can't get in range of it anymore. In the bot lane, Jinx takes down 2. She probably took out the Caitlyn and got excited and murdered the Thresh very quickly. Jinx having more individual DPS than Caitlyn. Amumu doesn't have his ultimate and doesn't have really enough mana to keep this engagement going. I don't know what he's trying to make happen here. He's now put himself in a very dangerous position. If he gets hit by this tornado, he's probably going to go down. Jinx and Janna do have a lot of damage. Lee Sin's coming around to close the gap. He gets hit by the cork. He's going to go down shortly to Jinx. That was a nice kill by them. Amumu overextending and getting punished for it. Yasuo now pushing under tower. Orianna does not have the health to stay here. She's going to have to back off or risk getting killed. Yasuo using Wind Wall. Doesn't push the ball backwards, but it does stop it from progressing forwards. Yeah, she's going to have to back out. And after that kill, Lee Sin and his team do take out the dragon, although Caitlyn and Thresh returned in time to get a counter kill on the Lee Sin, but Amumu is nowhere in sight, so there's not going to be a smite fight, and Lee Sin should be able to take that pretty quickly. He's good at killing the dragon even without smite. In the top lane, Rumble did use his ultimate in the last engagement up here. Yasuo does take out the mid tower as Orianna has to retreat. But without Rumble's ultimate, Ryze definitely has the advantage, and he has enough mana to make things happen. Rumble overheats, so he's only going to have his Flame Spitter damage for a few seconds there, waiting for that to cool down. Ryze sitting in the middle of the minion wave tanking. He's using his health potions to make sure he doesn't get too low. Yasuo has actually come up top lane. He's probably going to look for a kill on the Rumble if the Rumble tries to re-engage the Ryze. Yasuo thinks he's standing on a ward, but he's not. He did walk over one on the way up, so Rumble's hiding for good reason. And he sees the Yasuo come back down. Orianna's now got vision of that, so she'll know when to retreat and when she can safely push up. She's going to walk down towards bottom lane since there is an engagement. Wow. Amumu ults to hold off the Lee Sin. Does succeed in that. Orianna's coming around the side. Amumu in the front lines is going to be able to hold them back. Sneaks that ultimate around the side. Jinx does manage to take out Amumu. Yasuo comes around the backside. He's going to get a couple kills out of that. Nice ultimate by the Orianna. Yasuo is actually going for Thresh. That was the wrong play. Orianna walks past the wind wall, and she's going to be able to take out this Yasuo with just her auto attacks. Very nicely done. Yasuo overextending somewhat. Overall, Caitlyn and Amumu dead, but Jinx, Yasuo, Janna, and Lee Sin all died in that engagement, so it's a 4-2 for Purple Team and puts them back at just under 1,000 gold disadvantage. Ryze in the top lane continues to farm. Rumble is forced to recall. He still has a teleport up, so he's saving that so that he can return to the bottom lane and assist his team. Ryze used his teleport to return to lane, so he's not going to have that advantage, and his team is probably going to miss him. Rumble's mid-game is definitely stronger than Ryze's, though, so it's better that he saves it, whereas Ryze can get more out of just sitting in his lane and farming. Orianna sees Lee Sin doing his red buff. She's got vision. They may try to make a play here. Orianna putting some nice damage down, forcing Zed to smite it. Orianna is now a little bit outflanked by the Zed, but she's got backup behind her. Wow, Amumu goes in, does not have his ultimate, and gets taken down by Jinx very quickly. Now Thresh is in a bad position. Lantern is not available. He just used it to shield some damage. Court goes down, misses. Nice dodge by the Zed. So overall, just Amumu dying for not very much reason. And Jinx on the backside dropping these bombs. Wow, that Janna tornado into Yasuo engage. Yasuo cuts up the enemy team, although Rumble does a pretty absurd damage and manages to deal enough to let Caitlyn take the kill. Yeah, flashing on with that overheat down. Nice ultimate by Janna, pushing the team apart. Nice ult by Rumble. Now Orianna's got the Jinx pin. She's going to go down pretty quickly to those auto attacks. Rumble's hit at least one Electro Harpoon, so he's going to be able to stick on this Janna for a while. He shouldn't go into the tower. Failed ultimate by Orianna. She's going to try to save her Rumble buddy. Janna shields herself. Lee Sin comes in. Rumble's forced to retreat with very low health. Orianna retreats with low health. Lee Sin misses a Q, so he can't re-engage. In the meantime, Ryze is pushed up top. Rumble did not use his teleport. He actually just wandered on down. Amumu coming up to push the Ryze off the tower. Wow. Engaging on the Ryze. Uses his ultimate for a single target. That's not a guaranteed kill. Not the best play in the world. Thresh is trying to recontrol ward coverage in the dragon area so that when the next one comes up, in about a minute and a half, his team can get something done. Caitlyn returning to lane. In terms of farm, Caitlyn's at 104 to Jinx's 117, so not a huge differential, and both AD carries have 6 kills, so they both have their Infinity Edges online as well as their Berserker Greaves. Yasuo and Lee Sin making a play here. Nice hook by Amumu. Manages to stun Lee Sin before he can get ulted back into the Yasuo. And Orianna's going to be able to get vision on that. She needs to make sure to not get hit by this tornado. Very nicely done. With Ryze there, it's very dangerous, so they're going to just give up the red buff, and Lee Sin's going to take it away. In the bot lane, however, Thresh goes down to Jinx, who's now excited. Nice net by Caitlyn, making sure to slow. Ooh, she jukes into it that time. She's going to go down. 2 more kills for the Jinx. She is now 8-3. That's a dangerous, dangerous situation. Jinx does scale very well with kills, especially in single fights. Once she gets one, she's got a pretty good handle to get the rest of them. Ryze in the top lane does not have a ward to see this Yasuo coming, so if he doesn't back out pretty quickly, he's going to get taken down pretty quick. Ryze engages. He's got no tower to retreat to. He's going to have problems with this fight, although Yasuo is walking across that entire thing. He's now ganked by 3. He's going to go down shortly, although it does take 3 members to take him down, giving Orianna space that she needs to push in. Jinx is in a bad position. She's going to get taken down by the Amumu. Actually, she gets killed by the creeps, giving Amumu the kill. Yasuo and Zed return to try and force Orianna off the tower while Janna shields it up to keep the damage down. Orianna misses her Q. She's probably going to get a tornado. She gets ice blasted and tornadoed. Yasuo does not have his ultimate, although nice push by the Janna. They need to be careful. Orianna gets exhausted, so her ultimate damage is very low. Amumu gets kicked across the wall, and Yasuo does not make his ultimate happen. He's waiting on the tornado. Hits 2, brings down the Orianna, who flashes immediately. Yasuo is now out of position. Lee Sin, if he has his execute, will be able to take down the Orianna. Yes, he does. Thresh flashes, misses his flay. Lee Sin's going to walk out of that. In the meantime, Rumble has returned to top lane after dying to 3, and he's going to farm up. The wave is pushed pretty much in his favor, so he'll be able to farm all this without much pressure. Ryze teleporting out. He's going to try to flank this Thresh. Thresh and Caitlyn are in a bad position. They're probably going to get double killed here, or at least have to give up one. Flanked by the Lee Sin. They're both going to die. Horrible deaths. Yeah, Lee Sin gets 1, Ryze gets 1. Very well played by the blue team. They are now up 19 to 15, 34k advantage to 29.7k for the purple team. So about 5,000 gold difference. Ryze has pushed up and farmed at least 2 waves by himself. Blue team's going to pick up a dragon for themselves. Purple team does have vision for a little while. Amumu does have his ultimate available, so he might try to engage this, especially against just Ryze and Janna. And he's got the Orianna behind him. Yeah, he's probably going to... Orianna has pinned herself against the wall. That was a bad play. She's going to get locked down and killed almost immediately. Wow. I do not know why she went so aggressive. I think she thought Amumu was going to engage, but Amumu doesn't really have the mana to engage, or the HP. He's not tanky at this point. He's built more jungle items. Amumu has built a Seeker's Arm Guard. Nice ultimate by Rumble. He's going to try to sneak out with the Lantern. Very well done. Unfortunately, he didn't have his team there to back him up, and they need to retreat pretty quickly. Although Yasuo does not have an ultimate, it is a 4v5. Fox goes down to try and hold them off. Amumu gets a decent ultimate off, but there's no follow-up damage, and he goes down, along with Thresh and Rumble. Caitlyn's trying to escape. She's probably going to try to net over this wall. Nope, she doesn't have net. She doesn't have flash. She's just going to say, I'm dead, and try to deal some damage as she goes down. So that was a 5-0 overall, plus the dragon. Not a good play for purple team. They're now very behind. They're about 9,000 gold behind. That was a 4,000 gold swing. Wow. And Yasuo has pushed up the mid lane all the way to the turret. That's a big wave of experience and gold being wiped out by the turret. Orianna stuck behind her tower waiting for Lee Sin's wave to push in. She's going to pick this one over the mid lane. Maybe not the best choice. There is more money here, but the mid tower is much more important on the map than this bottom inner. And Orianna has 125 creeps to Yasuo's 127, 4-4 and 3 to his 5-4 and 6. So even though Yasuo seems to have been more prominent on the map, Orianna is still holding her own, and in the late game, her ultimate can change a fight for a team, no matter how badly they're losing. It's that powerful, especially with a Rumble and an Amumu. They can make a wombo combo happen. They need to be careful now, though. Orianna gets out on the Lantern, leaving her friend Caitlyn to die a horrible death. Lee Sin coming around the side. Orianna's been hit by ice, and now Tornado. Lee Sin gets whacked out by Thresh Lantern. Nice ultimate, although Randuin's out of the Lee Sin is probably going to cause Orianna to go down. Jinx gets excited. She's going to be able to hunt down this Thresh, no problem. 3 more kills for nothing for the blue team. Jesus, this is getting out of control. Over 10,000 now in the top lane. Rumble's being engaged on by the Ryze. He doesn't really have the damage. Misses his ultimate. Ryze is not sitting in any of that. He is flanked by the Amumu, however, so if Amumu can get that bandage toss down, which it looks like he's going to clear the creeps first, and Amumu's built magic damage. He's going for a Zanya's Hourglass, so he can actually solo the Ryze. But in the meantime, that mid-inner tower has gone down, and it is very important on the map that tower stays up. Jinx and her team pushing in. Jinx is up to 12 kills at this point. Nice engage by Yasuo. Using his flash. Oh, almost saved it. Amumu does manage to take down the Yasuo. Actually, Orianna's the one who landed the kill, but that tower goes down. Nice disengage by Janna. Wow, Jinx is going to stay in. She has enough kills, and she thinks she's got the damage for it, and she is right. She's getting excited, and she's going to take down as many of these as she can find. Backs off before she gets hit by the Lantern, but that inhibitor goes down along with the Orianna. More kills for the Jinx. She's now up to 13, 5, and 6. And she's not stopping. She's going to try and push in and deal some damage to these inner towers. No, her team is backing her up. Very wise decision to back up at this point. Many teams get caught trying to farm the inside of the base and get overrun by home-guarded enemies. Ryze picking up his blue buff in preparation for either the Baron or a final push. That'll help him a lot in terms of keeping his mana high while he spams his spells like mad. He's got a Rod of Ages and a Seraph's Embrace along with Mercury Dread, so he's pretty much impossible to kill at this point. If they were to drop their whole combination of damage, both Orianna ult and Rumble's ultimates, along with Caitlyn dealing DPS, I think they could bring that Ryze down. But in the meantime, Jinx would be doing her damage, and Yasuo would be doing her damage, and Lee Sin still has damage at this point in the game. He engages on the Orianna. Kick into Yasuo ultimate, forces an instant kill. Yasuo is out of position, does get brought down. Amumu is probably going to drop his ultimate here shortly. Wow, Ryze comes in and brings the pain. Takes down the Amumu pretty quickly. Actually, Amumu manages to not die immediately. Lee Sin re-engages, pushed back by the Lee Sin, but it doesn't matter. Jinx got a solo kill on the Caitlyn and is taking out this bottom inner turret. This game is going to be over very shortly. It's 33-18, 49.9k gold, 36.1. Not much the purple team can do about this at this point. It's become a stop. Lee Sin's going to take up the tower as they try to push in and take this down, although honestly they could simply push for the Nexus towers at this point. They want to play it safe and take out as many inhibitors as they can. Orianna trying to defend the mid. She's not going to have the damage to keep the super minions and the enemy team off of her double towers. Second Nexus goes down. Ryze flash engages. Orianna manages to survive and brings down the Ryze under her towers. Amumu gets a nice ultimate, traps Janet and Jinx. Both of them go down. Rumble chasing the Lee Sin. They overextend their stay. And so purple team gets a slight reprieve, does not lose the game immediately. Only Yasuo and Lee Sin alive for the blue team. If purple team wanted to make a play towards Baron, they'd have to try that now. But they have two waves of super minions pushing in towards them. It's going to be hard. Yasuo's looking to engage in this Orianna. He's used his Ice Flash, but it's not going to save him. Ooh, dodges the tornado. So at least using her flash, she did manage to cost Yasuo his life. They are going to try a Baron attempt. Blue team actually does not have vision on this, so they're going to have to run out there assuming that a Baron is being done and walk into it blind. No, Amumu and Caitlyn have decided they do not have the damage, and they probably don't, but it was worth a shot because nothing else is really going to save them from losing this game. In the meantime, Lee Sin and Janna approach the Baron pit to try and gain vision control so that they can do it safely and not get engaged on. Janna uses her sweeper on the Baron. Lee Sin drops a pink ward, actually drops a ward to clear out the enemy pink ward. Rumble pushes out top, and Ryze goes up to counter him. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Thresh is trying his hardest to keep the supers out of his base, and in the bot lane, the super minions are starting to make their approach towards the double towers. If even one lane of super minions makes it to your double towers with no assistance, it is probably going to cost you one tower. Those super minions do a significant amount of anti-building damage. Blue team manages to get the dragon. An engagement by Amumu and Thresh does not go as planned, and Thresh loses his life for it. Rumble is now caught out. Amumu gets over the wall using bandage toss. Sneaky play by him, but he's not going to be able to survive. He's going to have to keep running and all the way back to his base. Manages to dodge a cork. Jinx has had a lot of those dodged today. Orianna is being pushed back by the Zed, although she probably does have damage potential to kill him at this point. She's going to recall so that she doesn't get 4v5, or 4v1 I should say. And blue team pushes in to take the last inhibitor, tower and inhibitor. As the mid lane towers start to go down to the super minions, like I said, even a single super minion in your base can cost you one or both double towers. Mumu lands his ultimate. Orianna has not landed her ultimate yet. It's actually on cooldown. She used it to defend herself from the Yasuo. Caitlyn comes out. Ryze actually gets pulled into the base, and he's going to go down pretty quickly. Rumble gets taken down. Orianna trying to deal with damage she can, and Caitlyn. But it just can't compare to a 16-6 Jinx who's running Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, and Static Shiv. Yasuo dives the base fountain and loses to Orianna, but it doesn't matter. Blue team does pull out the win. GG, well won by the blue team, outplaying the purple team in pretty much every aspect.